Hit the record button. Good to see everybody's faces again. How was everybody's 15-minute break? Glorious? Awesome. All right, I'm going to introduce the lovely Deena to all of you. She is working on her first book, and she has so many passions and talents. It's hard to be someone like that, right, Deena?
It is. It's challenging.
It's a challenge, but
exciting.
Yes, you persevered and you have become very, very knowledgeable in the area of manifestation and changing your life for the better, and really just, yeah, mastering the mind. So I'm excited for this next session. I've decided I'm going to close my eyes a lot in this session. So if you see me in my camera, my eyes are closed. I'm not sleeping. I'm just like really trying to stay focused and not look at my phone and not build any marketing images. So I'm just like fully present in this one. So I invite you all to do the same. Remove your phones. This is about envisioning your future, is it not, Deena?
Creating it, yes, envisioning it.
So let's do that fully present, ladies. Let's challenge one another to, rather than look at our phones, close our eyes and look inward and really listen to Deena's words and, you know, do the things she asks us to do. I know I've been having trouble staying focused today. I've been like half listening, half marketing the next session, half listening, half, you know, talking to people. I'm really just going to keep my phone away and stay focused on all of you and sending you love and energy and receiving the wisdom and love from Deena. So let's all do this together. And Deena, please tell us about you and your story and share your screen and do all the things. Take it away, Deena.
Awesome. Thank you, Lindsay, for the introduction and the invitation and this opportunity. And thank you to all of you who've joined us. And I think Lindsay hit this nail on the head really well, because there's a lot to be said with sharing our energy and coming together. And even if it isn't here, even if it's something that you catch in the replay or you go back and watch it again, even if you were here, this energy is supportive of each other, and it'll really help you to feel stronger. And it does have a sense of a bit of a woo-woo factor, right? Like, but it's very real. It's very true. And the more that you practice it and open yourself up to it, the more it will become a part of your life. And I'm a living example of that in so many ways. And I am so excited to share this with you. It's nothing new. I'm sure all of you have heard about the law of attraction or positive mindset. It's nothing new. And I even hesitated to use that as my subject because it's just my voice telling it in a different way. But something that I learned from needing to focus on and choose one of the many things that I'm passionate about is that I want you all to experience this exciting way of approaching life and getting back in touch with this. And the fact that my voice might be something that resonates with you, even though you've heard it from other people. And when I was in Lindsay's marketing school this summer for 6 weeks, finally just bit the bullet, jumped in. What I learned that we all have is something inside of us, and more than one thing, but what we have, we're obligated to share. We're obligated to help others with what we know. And I'm not monetizing my manifesting. That's not even a business venture by any means. I guess I could at some point, and it could be part of a life coaching career, whatever it might be. But I just want to live it, and I want to share it with all of you. And you can apply it in many, many ways. A bit more about me. I am many things, as most women are. We're mothers or grandmas or volunteers. We have been artists and authors in whatever ways through our lives. We're sisters, we're children, we're friends, we've been co-workers, we've been influential, whether we know it or not. And I really hope that you will share what you hear today with those around you, whether they see you practicing it, they hear the way you speak and the way you react to things, and it can be a blessing to others as well. That's why I'm here. I grew up in southern Saskatchewan on a farm and ranch. I now live in Alberta. I've always wanted to live in Alberta. I can see the mountains from my home. That's always been a very spiritual thing to me. And I am now, last couple months, we found a really nice place in the country. So I'm so happy to be back out in the country again. It really feeds my soul. I've got birds out the window. If you see me distracted once in a while, it's because somebody's at the bird feeder or whatever. It's just, those are the types of things that I have manifested in my life. My greatest calling and highest calling, greatest joy, I would have to say, is being a mom and now a grandma. And that is a thread that you'll hear me talk a little bit about that again as we talk about manifesting and how it applies to us as women. So please, if you don't already have a pen and paper, you will definitely need a pen and paper, or at least a really good imagination and a way to be able to revisit that and write it down later. If you need a sweater, a beverage, just some chocolate, your dog, blanket, whatever, get comfy. And yes, please set your phone aside. Now, I had set mine aside. I had it in another room because I was setting a really good example. And then I thought, oh, just a minute. Some of the things we're going to be doing need a timer. So I need my phone. So it's sitting here, but I promise it's muted. I won't look at it unless I need the timer. And I really want this to be a time for you. And that feels selfish and it might feel a little weird, but I want this to be about you. And that's where we're going to start. And we often feel very torn to do that. We need to look after everybody else first before we start looking after ourselves. And that's part of manifesting, is making that time, manifesting that comfort zone. Oh, I love it, Noreen, you got a blanket. Right on. Okay, so that's what we're going to do with the phones. And I also am curious, how is everybody enjoying the conference so far? Love it? Thumbs up, clapping, high fives. Awesome. It's been amazing. And we're only a day and a half in. We've still got 2.5 days to go. And fantastic. Thank you, Lindsay, for putting this together. You have been a really powerful influence and push for a lot of us. You get us trying new things, and my blog exists because of you. I can honestly say that it has kind of been on the back burner. I wanted to make sure I took care of everybody else first. I was caught in perfection paralysis. Didn't want to put out anything until it was just perfect. That's never going to happen. Just do it. And Lindsay said, hey, of all these passions that you have listed here, I kind of think writing is where your heart is. And I also attended the first ever Fempreneurs writing retreat this fall. And that was amazing. I met some of you there who are here with us today. Carrie, Gina, who else was there? Yeah, it was fantastic. And I've really gotten so that I'm braver to put my voice out. Now, I'm going to ask Lindsay, if possible, that we do, because this is very personal space today, we are recording this. Yes, that will be available as a replay, but I want all of you to feel safe to share some really personal stuff if you want to. And, you know, if we don't, no screenshots and sharing video clips or anything like that. I want you all to know that that is not going to go out except for the replay for those people who are subscribed to Patreon. And please do that if you haven't already. So I came out of a 30-year marriage. I was with someone for over 30 years. And that was just a few years ago. There was a lot of verbal and emotional abuse all those years, a lot. So it was scary for me. I practiced for many years, most of my life, to be invisible and try and be very careful for landmines and that type of thing. So putting a blog out, putting out videos, being out on social media, doing lives, all that type of thing. I'm very comfortable with it now, but it was scary, and it can be a little bit scary to look inside and think of who you are and put yourself out there. So kudos to, there's many presenters that are going to be teaching us about how to brand ourselves, how to market ourselves. This is a leadership and marketing convention. When you're a leader and you're marketing, you need to be comfortable being out there, and that will communicate confidence and will then bring trust in you from the people that you are talking to and being with. Okay, so now for some fun details. Who's wearing a bra? No, I won't make you stand out. Who's not wearing a bra? Okay, I'm actually wearing one today. Yesterday, no, wasn't wearing a bra. How about pants with a zipper? Yeah, I'm in pants, no zipper. Okay, it's sweats. Awesome. Okay, so we're comfy, right? We're comfy. And I do have a comfy bra on, but you know, I had to have one on just because I'm the presenter today. Drop in the comments, if you would, please, where you're from and your social handles, if you have more than one. Are you on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook? We'd all love to follow you and follow each other. My information will be in my presentation. So take a moment and drop those in the chats, please. When I share my screen, I'm more than likely I'm not going to be able to see all those chats, but I can, I think Lindsay or we can share that or save the chat at the end. And maybe that could be posted in Patreon. And Lindsay might be already doing that. She might be collecting a lot of these social handles, because part of our conference is to get to know and network with each other. Okay, so that's about me. I do have a blog. I would love if you hop over there. It just launched in September. It was weekly. I'm going to go bi-weekly now. Through this year, I took December off, but I do have a variety of topics, and I would really, really love to hear your feedback. Please hop over and check it out. It's youglowgirl.com or .ca, either works. So please make sure and check that out. Okay, what we're going to be doing today is talking about manifesting more. And I also have a free gift for you at the end, and I'll tell you what I did. I made a 40-page manifesting guidebook. So it will be a lot of what we're going to do today, but more. And I took mine and put it in a binder. So I actually punched holes and put it all in a binder. Then you can add pages if you want to. There's going to be a lot of journaling. We'll only do short little blips of journaling today just to get your mind rolling and get you thinking. So I do have a prize that way, or a surprise for you at the end. I also have a door prize. So I have these really pretty leather earrings. They're metallic leather. They're super light, and you can actually diffuse essential oils on these if you want. And they dangle.
Are you going to use that? Are you going to use that app that you showed us in the speaker chat? Sorry, I'm talking to them.
No, because I won't have time to put everybody's. Oh, maybe I could.
Do you want me to try it?
I've used it before, but yeah, that might be.
How do you want to do the draw for this?
At the very end.
Okay.
And I guess I'll see how it goes, Lindsay. When people are journaling, I was going to journal as well, but I could then enter people's names in that, because you do need to input everybody's name. And then
if you want me to do it, I can.
Okay, it's a little spin wheel. Sure, I'll take you up on that. Wow.
Okay, I'll do it.
Listen,
I'm gonna try those. I'm gonna try those. That little app that you used.
Yeah, it's just on a website, so it's really cool. Okay. Oh wow, you guys all saw how hard that was for me to let her do that and advocate.
Well, I was just wondering if you wanted to do it yourself or not. I don't. It's up to you.
No, you go ahead, Lindsay.
I'm your assistant.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I will accept your assistance and appreciate that. Okay, so that's what we're going to do at the end. There's going to be some journaling, and I'll explain as we go through each one. Now, off the top, I would like to say, as I'm assuming if you're here, you also are likely a bit of an empath to some degree. And as fellow empaths, I just want to tell you, if you're feeling a little bit of heaviness, it may have something to do with the heavy energy that's around us. It's not, and I was feeling that, and I was a little concerned that it was something I was creating in myself. And I thought, where's it coming from? I'm feeling kind of rattled and restless and antsy, and I don't quite understand this. And give yourself some grace. Take a breath and acknowledge all that you accomplished. The last year was challenging. It was difficult, but we did it. We thrived. We pivoted. We transitioned. We were resilient. We were amazing. We supported our family, friends, our business, whatever we did. We might not have accomplished everything we'd hoped to, but we were met with some challenges that gave us an opportunity to accomplish in ways we would have never thought. We were stretched, and we did it. So, you know, give yourself a big hug and just say, hey, I did it. I did it. I survived. I think that's huge. Okay, I'm going to share my screen, and we will get into this. Now, I apologize. You had to all look. My camera, I don't know if you can see me anymore. I would suggest choosing the viewer screen where it's just like one little square, and then you'll just see me. Unless you do want to see the whole audience, that's great, but it just blocks some of your screen. So my camera is way down here on my bottom of my keyboard, so you have to see so I painted my nails, so you didn't have to. I'm just gonna shut that view down for myself so you don't have to look at all that, because I don't know what you see when I share my screen, but you don't need to see Zoom as well. I'm going to go into presentation mode.
Hey, Deena, if you actually use the little arrows in the bottom right versus presentation mode, you'll still be able to see us.
Oh, cool. Okay. I'll just do it that way then.
Yeah, the little arrows in the bottom right there, like by the 56%.
Yep.
And 24, and then to the right. You click those little arrows.
I don't actually see any arrows there.
They're just tiny. They're like in that white bar. And if you just look on the 56%.
Yep.
Look to the right of that. Like just look to the right.
I just see a 24 grid view.
The right of the 24. Do you see little arrows?
Whoopsie. No, we don't want that. No, I don't.
Are there pictures in front of that? Maybe move our face.
That's okay. I'll just scroll it through.
Okay.
If that's all right. Okay, so make it happen. What do you desire most? Manifest it. And that is me and my blog. Please come visit. You can email me. Who are you? Okay, let's see. I should be able to make that bigger. There. Oh, now I see them. Okay, thanks, Lindsay. This is me when I was 6, as you can see on the cake. And what we're going to do today is find that little girl. Let's invite her to come out and play. You can manifest the life of her dreams. Are you ready? Let's do this. Okay, no, that didn't work. I'm just going to scroll. Sorry, guys. Thanks for hanging in there. Now, this is where you're going to need your pen and paper. The first journal prompt I have here for you is describe your 6-year-old self. And just take a couple minutes. You can go back to this later. The guidebook that I'm giving you at the end will have these prompts plus more. So you will have a copy of this, but just take a couple minutes right now and jot down what excited you, what did you dream about and wish for, and what scared you. Throw in a little bit of describing. Try and actually revisit that little girl in your mind. We're trying to feel. That's where what we're trying to do is identify that. I'll shut up and let you write. going to open this a little bit so I can see some of you. How's everybody doing? Ready to move on? Okay, you can always come back to that, and I hope you will. Does anybody want to share something that they wrote? Just unmute yourself, pop in and tell us, or throw it in the chat. Anything that surprised you about thinking about that little girl that maybe you haven't thought about in a while?
Yes, hi, Deena.
Hi.
Yes, I have a lots of things. I'm not taking you too
Perfect.
much time, but as a little girl, my feeling was like whenever I help other, whenever I do anything, I'm too much excited, and I don't know why, and it is still here.
That's
So
amazing.
yes, so I don't know. It's something. I don't know. I cannot explain you. So even a little thing I'm doing, I'm excited. Or like I'm helping other. I'm very excited and do with lots of love and just trying my very best to do best. And this is this thing which I got from my childhood when I was little. And I can explain you, and I feel so good about it. And when I was little, and I always wish for happy life, I want to help people. I want to treat people very nice way. I want them to remember beautiful moments. And what I was worried, I don't want to lose my family at that time, especially my mom. So, and yeah, so my mom is not in here in my country, but I talk to her every day. But the thing is, like, the feelings, like as a child, which I'm carrying now too, they're so amazing. and and I'm loving it. Thank you so much for bringing these.
Thank you. Is it Samara? Am I saying that right, Samara?
Yes, my name is Samara.
That we can't even see your face, and I think I can speak for everyone in saying that we really feel that beautiful, vibrant, positive energy that you do have.
Yes.
Obviously, you've had since a child. I'm so happy you haven't lost that, and that you.
I cannot explain you.
that to
Even
share.
my single customer, they met with me and they say, "We just love your bubbly personality," and I didn't do anything.
That's fantastic. Thank you for
So,
sharing.
yeah.
Is there anyone else that has anything they'd like to share from their 6-year-old self? Okay. Yes, go ahead.
I was going to say, for me, it was always creativity, wanting to do and make and create. If I think back of that little girl.
That's cool.
And I think that's carried me to this point. So I don't think I've lost that.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, that's fun. Those are some answers I hadn't even expected, but I love it how we get in touch with our 6-year-old self. And now, what are we going to do today? We are going to create the life of your dreams and of that little girl's dreams. Now, hopefully you wrote down a couple things. If not, you can go back to it when you get the guidebook and write some of her dreams. What is manifesting? It's everything you could ever wish for. It's possible to create in your life. Now, positive thinking, I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier about the other, law of attraction, positive mindset. You've heard about that before. So we're just going to deep dive a little bit. I don't know. Can you deep dive just a little bit? You know what I'm saying? The beauty of manifesting is that it's free. There's no equipment needed, no special education, some prompts, some guidance. That's what I'm here to do today. But anyone can do it. You can do it anywhere, anytime, and the benefits are limitless. Your imagination is your only limit. Now consider this. Everything around you came from someone's imagination. Like, okay, a coffee mug. Somebody had to design that in their head. They had to realize that they didn't want to continue drinking out of their hand or whatever they were using. So they had to design through their imagination. Well, it needs to be watertight, at least 3 sides of it, and a handle is kind of nice. The size, the design, the lip, everybody has a favorite mug, and it's not the same as other people's. So we all have things that we love about whatever we create. Someone imagined it, someone made it happen. And if you look around you, everything had to be imagined. Your home, the artwork, the chair you're in, everything needed to be built in someone's imagination. And that is what we're trying to get in touch with, is that if you can imagine it, you can make it happen. So that sounds kind of a little bit scary and exciting at the same time. Where do we start? Well, let's just jump right in. The goal is to help you become more aware. Let's see if I can make this bigger for you. Sorry. More aware of the messages that you tell yourself, of what you communicate to the universe. Now, I'll say now, I'm going to be just using the term universe, but please substitute whatever you feel your divine source of power is. It is an innate thing in humans, so I'll assume that you all recognize some type of divine or higher power. So please substitute God or whoever you would like. I'm going to be using universe. So the goal is to help you become more aware of the messages you're telling yourself, of what you're communicating to that higher power, and to explore how you can use your imagination to learn and create what you desire. Okay, more journaling. What advice would you give your 10-year-old self, your 16-year-old self? Any advice for the 25-year-old self? And if you aren't 25 yet, what would you like to tell her? Just the first thing that pops into your mind. It doesn't have to be the ultimate wisdom, because now that this question is in your mind, you might find yourself going, oh, later in the day, you'll think, that's what I would like to tell her, or I'd also like to tell her this, and you'd like to add to the list. Right now, just take a couple minutes, and the first thing that comes to mind, what advice would you like to go back and give yourself at roughly those ages? Just pick ages. I just suggested some. So let's do that for a couple minutes. Okay, anybody feel like sharing what they wrote or what they thought about, even if you didn't write it down?
I'll start. I said, tell your parents, to my 10-year-old self, who were just 3 years after their divorce. So my parents, including my stepmom and stepdad, tell your parents to leave you out of their drama and opinions of one another. Don't think about them and their decisions or mistakes. Focus on learning how the world works, business, money, and relationships.
Cool. I think a lot of people could relate to that. Anyone else want to share?
I can share. I noticed when we did the first one the 6-year-old self, my journaling was all about, you know, dreams and play and just enjoying the sun on my skin and being with my sisters. And then I noticed my 25-year-old self I was telling myself that you could be worthy, that you're loved, you don't have to settle, that you can dream bigger. And that somewhere along the way, you know, the world or things that happened to me or whatever sort of chipped away at my sense of worthiness and my sense that anything is possible, that I can dream big dreams. And I ended up, you know, settling in lots of ways in my life. And I feel like now I'm at 50 years old, I have this opportunity to dream big again and manifest something different. So that was really interesting to see that timeline.
Thank you, Noreen. Thank you, Lindsay. Thanks for sharing. Anyone else before I address that want to share?
I just wanted to say I always find these exercises interesting because I can never remember much before 12. So when I couldn't answer, I couldn't go to your 6 and 10-year-old, but my 16-year-old was like, study, ask for help, and it's not a weakness to ask for help. And then my 25-year-old was set clear boundaries, stay true to your values. And when I was 25, I actually had a nervous breakdown. And it was because my values, I was so far away from them. Like Noreen, somehow I'd lost my way. And thankfully, had such a powerful moment, I was able to come back. Yeah, but interesting exercise. Thanks,
Colette. And I think I'm gonna channel Lindsay's push energy here, and I'm sure others can relate to what Colette said, that she's having trouble getting in touch with that 6-year-old and actually remembering, or even the 10-year-old. So keep pushing at that. And I will tell you something that might help. And I will share the link in the chat at the end, and I can also share it. If you jump in and grab the gift, I'll share it in an email later as well. I don't know if anyone's heard of it or tried doing an inner child reconciliation. It is fascinating, and there's more than one way of doing it. I had a friend, what brought me the interest first is I had a friend who had a lot of trauma through her life. And she mentioned being told to try this. When she pictured, now this just tears at your maternal heartstrings. When she pictured the little child, herself as a little child, so this other entity, it's you, but it's the child, and you look at that child and you think about what they've had to experience, how they're feeling. If they're feeling lost, neglected, it just tears at your maternal heartstrings, because you want to nurture that little child. And that's what many of us have done to our little child, is just ignored and not nurtured, and just not taken care of that part of us. It's a part of us. And when that shrivels and dies and fades, and we're losing something of ourselves. And that was so fascinating to me and heart-wrenching. So there's many videos, and the one I happen to use is the link I'm talking about that I'll share, but I found a video on YouTube, and it's kind of a visualization exercise. And then when it was done, I wrote all that I'd felt. I wrote a letter to that inner child, and it's amazing. It's truly amazing. Give yourself time and space and some tissue, and just try it sometime. Just search it up on your own if you want to do this. And I think if you do, this is part of the homework I would love to have you try. And please contact me. Let me know how that went. But I think that might help Colette and any others that are struggling to find why is it hard to find. And sometimes there's some deeper traumatic issues that, some PTSD, whatever it might be, also involved. And I'm no counselor. I'm just saying that helped me. and it's helped a lot of my friends, and it might help you get in touch with that child again. So let's nurture her and find her. And moving on here. What is something that you, oh, just a sec. I think there might've been more on my little, when you do all this too, I wanted to emphasize, go at your own pace. If you want, when you get the guidebook or you have any other type of book that has journal prompts, sometimes I've just read through all the questions and then I go back and I let those simmer, and I might not answer them in sequence. I do it at my own pace. And where do you do your best thinking? So for me, sometimes, and you don't have to write today when I'm asking you to journal, you can just think about it. I'll sometimes read a question, I'll go for a walk, I'll hop in the shower, go for a drive, go sit in the sun, whatever. Wherever you do your best thinking, go there and then work on these questions. Now, what is something you have always wanted to learn? And there'll be more questions tied with some of these in the guidebook. So we'll move ahead to the next thought. What is something you've always wanted to learn? Jot that down or think about it. Now, it might be something you have learned, or it might be something you're still wanting to learn. Now consider, is there a way that you could start now if you haven't learned already? Could you do it part-time? Could you do it online? Maybe there's something that's related to that that would fit into your schedule or your budget. It's maybe not the way you'd originally thought of doing it. Say, for instance, you want to write a book, maybe writing a blog would be a way to work your way into that. Does anybody want to share what they've written? Maybe it's something you haven't thought about in a while because you're so busy, and there's just something that you would like to learn. For me, I have, again, a big list of things. I want to learn to play guitar, and I want to learn, I've always wanted this, what I got my very best Christmas present this year. I wanted a drum, you know, like the handheld Native American drum. And I wanted to make my own though. And yeah, my fiance gave me a 2-day workshop gift certificate to go, and it's spiritual, make my own drum. I'm so excited. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I'm really excited about it. Now, part of the positive mindset work that I've come across is to pre-act versus react. So I'll just drop this in here. It fits in the whole presentation. So we spend a lot of our lives reacting to things that have happened. We're still reacting. Oh, I wish that hadn't happened, or it's probably going to happen again. And we react, especially to the negatives. And we will have a question coming up here about negativity as well. Practice pre-acting, and that's what manifesting is act as if it's reality now. I'm referring to my boyfriend as a fiance, and that kind of started accidentally. It was part of the positive mindset thing. Also, when I moved in, I had some guys installing things, and they were a little bit overly friendly, and I just would mention my fiance this, my fiance that, or whatever. And I said to him, hey, I had to drop the F-bomb today when the guys were here. And he kind of looked at me and I went, yeah, fiance. So that's just part of the act as if things are already where you want them to be. Realistically, I mean, you can't spend as if you already have $1 million. That brings me to the manifesting. Stretch a little bit. Don't just think about, I want a mansion and a Mercedes and a big fancy trip and that kind of thing. Also manifest things that aren't tangible or material. Okay, now, anybody want to share something that they've always wanted to learn? Nothing new? Nothing to share? That's fine. We'll move on.
I could share.
Okay.
I'm just thinking back to when I first moved to Cochrane. I moved here with a guy I was dating, and I wanted to learn how to create websites and like online systems, and like I wanted to learn how to like do the online thing because I was zero tech back then, like not techie at all. So this is kind of more of a win celebration that I'm having right now, where I'm like looking back on my life 10 years ago. I was literally zero tech person. I didn't even
Wow.
have Facebook. I hated social media. I thought it was stupid. I didn't want anybody knowing what I was doing. I was like my mom in a lot of ways, and I mean she's very redneck. And I'm just like really grateful that I sought out the online skills, because I probably wouldn't be here today with all of you. So
That's fantastic. I bet none of us would have guessed that. You're one of the first ones to say, hey, try something new. And it's usually technical. Thanks for sharing. Okay, I will move on here. How would you like to describe yourself a year from today? So write that if you'd like to, or you can just think about that. You and your life, how would you like to be able to describe it? Now, if anybody had done this a year ago, I bet we couldn't have guessed where we are now. And we are facing another year that will probably see a lot of challenges. The way you described yourself a year from today, I am guessing, is in your mind a better, stronger, better, more wonderful place than where you are now. Maybe you got more education, or your business has thrived, or your home is different, or you've had some vacations, or there's something different about, you've done something different. It's different than where you are right now, because I doubt that any of us are content to just, we wouldn't be here in this conference if we plan to be exactly where we are today a year from now. Anybody want to share?
Yes, Deena, Samara here again.
Yes.
Yes, so I have accomplished a lot. Last year we were not having house, and I was in townhouse, and I have to design long backdrops, and I don't have even space to do that. And it was so hard, and when my clients come, I have no space where I can bring him in, so I show them a live video and try my very best to get the client. And it was a small townhouse, and then this year we got a house, and it's a huge, and I got a big space for my backdrop designing and everything. And also my house is a mountain view, so that's what I always dream for. So yeah, this is a big change for me, and I'm so happy about it.
That's fantastic. And who knows where that's gonna, yeah.
Yeah, I never know. We never know. And I want to be in the city. I don't want to go far. And we were looking for a house from 4 years. And finally we city, and I have a view. So it's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, and if I can
Awesome.
feel last year, it was small, it was good. I was happy over there too, but I need more space for my backdrops, huge backdrops, my work where I can work and sit, my office. So it all came this year. So I was so thankful, so thankful.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Is anybody in, thank you very much, Samara, for sharing.
no
Appreciate
problem,
it.
no problem.
Was anyone in on Jane Lennon's workshop yesterday? raising kick-ass kids. I have a little note here that I wanted to mention, the soft skills she was talking about. And that is something as adults, we can't go back and ask our parents to teach us those the way, you know, Jane is helping us learn and recognize that we can teach our kids and grandkids. So now's an opportunity with our manifesting that we can grow and teach ourselves, recognize some of those soft skills that we might still be lacking. Even at our ages, we might still be lacking some of those, and we can practice them, strengthen them. And I think that's part of, it's a huge part of manifesting, you know, using your imagination and being creative and developing some of those skills. So I just wanted to mention that. The other thing that I found fascinating was anyone in Molly Moldenberg's, I forget how to say her last name. Molly's.
Yeah, Mandelberg.
Mandelberg, yes. Thanks, Lindsay. I did her little quiz that she had. I would encourage anyone to do that. And it turns out that my personality is an Empress. And a little description of that is, it's an overflowing cup of motherly love and creativity. The Empress reminds us that what we focus on manifests and asks us to be creative and dream big when we choose to bring new projects and ideas into the world. We were built to break the mold. I think that was fairly accurate. So definitely get all the resources that are offered at this conference, because we can learn and grow in so many ways, even from where we are today. So when we describe ourselves a year from today, it's probably going to be even bigger, because we sometimes keep those dreams a little bit small. And when we're manifesting, we don't want to keep it small. And we're going to get into that just in a minute here. I'm going to make more points about that. Now, list 3 negative thoughts you hear in your head or from your mouth almost daily. You might not even be aware of them, because we actually, I forget how many thousands of thoughts it's estimated that we have every day. A huge percentage, I think it's like 60% or more, are repetitive. We have thought those same thoughts every day, day after day. And when we stop and consider that, we become aware that we are repeating them, and a huge portion of those are very likely negative. And you might not consider them negative until you stop and examine them. You might consider some of those thoughts, they're just a sad statement of what your life is. Oh, that always happens to me. That always goes wrong. Nothing ever goes right. Those type of examples. And stop and catch yourself. How often do you catch yourself thinking the same thoughts? So just jot a few down that you maybe do have in a day. And while you're doing it, as you see on the slide here, it says, now let's take each negative thought and see how we can turn it into a positive. So if you can do that, that would be awesome. Some examples: nothing ever goes right for me, and switch that to me to say something like, everything works in my favor, even when I can't see it. Or I could never have that. Or you see someone maybe driving a fancy car, and it's like, I could never have that. Change it to, everything I desire is flowing toward me at the perfect time and in the perfect way. And in what areas of your life, this is the next question, what areas of your life do you feel you are lacking? So you don't need to dig too deep, just the first thoughts that come to mind right now. So when you get the guidebook, you can really deep dive and think more if there's areas that you feel you're lacking. And how would you describe or define or describe success? So maybe you are measuring yourself in a really harsh way. You define success one way, and so you feel you're lacking because you aren't meeting that definition of success. So I'm going to keep moving on here. Keep writing if you like, or just you can come back to that later. Just however you like. I just don't want to keep you too awfully long. List your top 10 desires, just the first top 10 that come to mind. And remember what I mentioned earlier, that those don't necessarily need to be tangible material things. Obviously, some will be. Think even about opportunities to build community or expand your business. Maybe you want more time in nature. List your top 10 there. Why do you think, whoops, that's the next one. Why do you think those top 10 desires are on your wish list and not in your life yet? So just think about it. You don't need to write that. Just kind of start thinking about that, because when you get the guidebook, we're going to deep dive and explore each one. I'll just give you another minute here to write. Now, because we are multitaskers, I'm going to throw in a little more information here while you're writing. When we were talking about the lack and how you might feel you're lacking in some areas, I want to really encourage you not to should all over yourself. And I said should, S-H-O-U-L-D, don't should all over yourself. Give yourself some space to explore the things that make you feel uncomfortable. It's not like, well, I should be better at this. I should be more successful. I should have grown my business. I should have grabbed that opportunity. I should have done whatever, right? Just give yourself some grace and some space to explore the things that you're uncomfortable with, that you feel you're lacking, and applaud how you have been successful. Okay, I'm not going to ask you to share all your top 10 desires, because you maybe are still exploring those, but please keep those in mind. Now, let's look at what kind of a giver you are and what kind of a receiver you are. Now, I'll explain more of what I'm talking about. What kind of a giver are you? When someone needs something, is it easy for you to give? Do you look for opportunities to give to others? And this is part of being a giver. How easy is it for you to accept thanks, praise, and compliments when you have given? So just jot down your first thoughts pertaining to that. What kind of a giver are you? Now, most of us, we don't struggle with being givers. I think females, mothers, giving comes pretty naturally. We tend to overgive maybe, but how easy is it for us to accept thanks, praise, and compliments when we do give? That can sometimes be the awkward part. Okay, and I'm going to move on and explain about receiver. This is paramount to manifesting. When you need something, is it hard for you to ask? Do you allow others opportunities to give to you? And do you struggle to accept help, show appreciation, or give praise? So really think about that. What kind of receiver are you? I'm going to tell you a little personal story here. A couple years ago, I was in a very serious motorcycle crash. I was a passenger on the back of a big Harley, and we were going very fast down the highway and hit a deer. It ran in front of us. We hit a deer. Both came flying off. And I spent 2 weeks in hospital, had some surgery. You can probably see this is a piece of my arm that was moved to the back of my hand, and I had some other stuff done. So I get home and I am in 2 hand splints because I fractured this hand and an air boot. And I was having trouble accepting help. I was seeing a psychologist just to deal with, I had been through a divorce and the accident. I thought there wasn't anything to deal with until I started talking to her. And she said, wow, you have a problem with accepting, with receiving. Like, really, you think? Yeah, it was I had a lot of trouble accepting help. And if I couldn't accept help in that situation, that's a huge red flag. So I'm sure you've all had many times in your life, whether you're a new mom with another new, or whatever it is, a new baby, a move, building your business. There's many situations where we could use help. And you saw how I struggled when Lindsay offered to do the draw for me today. Really? Like, should have been a no-brainer. Yes, please. Thank you very much. So being a receiver is extremely important. Understand how you could do better as being a receiver, and recognize times when you are given something. Maybe it's a compliment, and right away you're like, oh, this old thing, or oh, thanks for the compliment on my hair, but I haven't seen a hairdresser in 2 months. And whoa, just say thank you. Be a very good receiver, because the universe, your higher power, wants to give you so much. The universe has so much abundance and is so generous, and is just looking for opportunities to give to you. But it's going to take the path of least resistance. And if you are resistant to receiving, you are missing so many opportunities to receive the abundance that is there for you. There is more than enough for everybody. Abundance is not something we acquire. It's something we tune into. Steps to successful manifestation, or successful manifesting. I'll go through this fairly quick because I took more time than I realized I needed, but I still hope you get a lot of benefit out of this. The guidebook will take you deeper. So the steps is imagine. So we kind of talked about that. Imagination is everything. It's the preview of life's upcoming attractions. So what you imagine, you bring. What you imagine, you create. Watch. So this is watch for the abundance that is there for you. Take action. Very important. We'll get into that. Don't settle, and practice receiving. So all of this will be in the guidebook plus more, and you'll get that in a link that'll be available. Lindsay's got that all compiled. So the first thing is imagine, dare to dream. Watch, recognize abundance. So one story I just love to tell, and I heard it as a child, and I just thought it was the perfect example of watch. And you've maybe all heard it. There was a flood, a major flood. A man and his family found themselves on the roof of their home. And he prayed and prayed, God save us, God save us, God save us. Along comes a neighbor in a boat. Hop in. I've got room for all of you here. He goes, no, I'm good. God's going to save me. Okay, off they go. A helicopter comes along. The rescue teams came along. They had drop a basket, hop in, get in, we're going to save you. No, I'm good. Thank you so much, but God's going to save me. Well, they all drowned. They all end up in heaven. And God says, what the hell, man? Like, well, God probably didn't say that, but you get the idea. That's just part of the story. He goes, how come you didn't save us? And he goes, I sent a boat. I sent a helicopter. That is what I'm talking about. All of these things are there for us. We just need to be ready to receive, watch and recognize abundance, because we might say, look, I want it to be packaged this way and I want it to come at this time. This is how I want it. And that's when I'll be ready for it. But the universe brings us better than what we ask for, more than what we ask for, in ways we don't expect. So watch for them and be aware of those things. So that's the watch part. Take action, co-create. Things are not, they will fall into your lap. I've had it happen many, many times, and I've unintentionally manifested. I guess that brings me to the question, and I can't see everybody, but I can see some of you. Raise your hand if you think you have manifested in the past. Every single person has manifested, whether you're aware of it or not. And the scary thing is we can do it unintentionally. We can bring negative as well as we can bring positive. And we do it without even realizing. So I have take action there, because it's going to be even better if we co-create with the universe what we want to bring to our life. And by that, I mean, just a sec, I'll bring up some examples. So some personal examples. I wanted to find an acreage to live on. And that was part of it, but I really wanted to create a home. I was living in a condo. My fiance was renting in a small cabin on a ranch that was both really lovely homes, but we wanted to create a home together. And yeah, I could just keep saying that, or I could take some action. And one of those things that I challenged myself to do was to communicate to him how important that was, to communicate to my family how important it was, to start looking, to tell my friends we're looking. We started going and checking places out, and I put out an in search of ad and really started taking some action. And the exact right fit came along. Now, the don't settle part is very important. And I have another example, and it actually has to do with finding a home as well. So there was a lady that had a top 10 list on her wish list. This is what I want in a home. Now, I kind of did that myself. So I guess it relates exactly to what I was doing too. Her realtor took her to many, many, many places. The best she found was 8 out of 10. She was very tempted, really tempted to go with that. But she thought, I have the time to wait, and we don't always necessarily have that time, but if it's important enough, we can determine that for ourselves. She waited, and it wasn't long after that a 10 out of 10 appeared, and she didn't have to settle. So keep your expectations high, and practice receiving. Now, the guidebook goes into this a little bit deeper. When I say don't settle, in your mind, you, without maybe realizing, have a plan A and a plan B. Now, plan A is the perfect 10 out of 10. But you tell yourself, really, probably all I'm going to get is plan B or plan C, I don't know, maybe even plan D. So my expectations are like at plan C, but I'd love to have plan A. Don't settle, because the message that you put out to the universe and to everyone else around you is what you're saying, what you expect, and that's what you're going to get. So keep your expectations very high and expect to receive more than what you've dreamt of, and practice receiving. Ask and accept. Become very comfortable with asking and accepting. This is so hard. Give me a raise of hands. Who has trouble accepting? It could be anything. I think we all have trouble accepting. And even harder sometimes is the asking. So just think of that, the universe, God, whatever, how much they love, how much that entity loves you, cares, wants to nurture and give you how good does it feel when you give to others? And this is what that counselor said to me. How do you feel when you give and when people accept what you want to give? To me, it's incredible. It just fills me immensely when I can give. And I'm denying others that feeling when I won't ask or allow them to give. So part of receiving is understanding how fantastic it is to be a giver and to allow others that same joy. That to me made a lot of sense. So in summary, the steps would, and there's many other steps you can add in there, but this just kind of summarizes it. Imagine what you want, watch for that abundance, it's out there. Take some action towards making it happen, co-create it. Don't settle, keep your plan A in mind, keep your expectations high, and practice receiving. You know what? You're going to make it happen. And I want to thank all of you for being here. There's so much more that can be said and shared about this topic. And I hope that I've piqued your interest and got you thinking and digging a little bit into how you can find your voice, find your wishes, get in touch with that little girl again. What were her dreams? And approach life with that same curiosity and excitement and anticipation. You know, give yourself permission to dream. And I am working on a book. The book is a compilation of other stories of people who've been suffered loss or been in accidents. I've lost 2 brothers as adults in separate accidents. I've been through a divorce. There's a lot of areas of loss that we've all faced and been through, and we've learned from that. And what I found is that a lot of people wanted to share their story with me because they could relate with where I was at. And I want to give voice to those stories. So I am working on a compilation. In the meantime, I'm authoring a blog, and that is at youglowgirl.com or youglowgirl.ca, either works. Please stick around for the rest of the conference, meet the speakers. We've got 200 plus other Fempreneurs in the marketing in Fempreneur community. It's a fantastic, supportive community of strong and amazing women. And we've got fun Fab 5 speed dating sessions. You can network. Let's connect. I really hope that you will check out my blog, follow me on social, email me, message me. I really want to get to know all of you better and welcome you to my world and this whole community. It's been amazing. I'll keep everyone posted once my book is getting closer. Right now, just because my story, the legal settlement hasn't been completed, I can't put out the details of that yet, but it's being written in the background and I will get it going. And my free gift that I promised, and I'll do the draw for the earrings as well, or have Lindsay do that. So I have the guidebook. Like I said, I would suggest, there's actually even kind of a fun back cover. I would suggest putting it in a bit of a binder, print it out. There's 40 pages and you can add more pages that way for more journaling. Make sure to check out, just search on YouTube, Inner Child Reconciliation. I'd love if you did that. And I've got the little share button here too. Go ahead and share the guidebook and what you've learned today. I think it'll be really helpful to your family, your friends, your coworkers, and your clients as well. Like, just speak about it. I was very hesitant to speak about that mindset. And I thought people would think, oh, you're being woo-woo, or you're being, rose-colored glasses, what everything. There's nothing wrong with looking through the world in rose-colored glasses. Actually, I put these on today, and then I sat down to the camera and went, holy redness, Batman. Like I'm all like in the red, but these are my rose-colored glasses. So does anybody have any questions before we draw for the earrings? Or questions, comments? anything you'd like to share?
Please have some questions because I was slacking and I'm doing the names right now.
Okay. And I couldn't see any comments if there were comments. So Lindsay, I'm assuming you would have let me know if there were any.
If you
Deena said I
unshare
would
your
happily
screen,
receive your cookies.
go ahead.
What, Carrie?
I said I'd happily receive your cookies with an open heart.
Oh, that's sweet.
Looking out my window, what are those birds called? They're not woodpeckers, but they're of the woodpecker family.
Oh, yellow-shafted flickers, I think.
Yeah, I got one on my tree right outside, keeping me company.
Nice.
I just thought that was
Yeah.
ironic because that's how you started this, talking about your birds.
It's true. There's been a woodpecker out here. And then somebody was pecking at the door for a little while too. I wasn't sure if
Oh,
you guys could hear that, but
awesome.
cooking is another venture, and Carrie got to sample some at the writing retreat.
I have a question for Carrie and Deena and Gina. What was the retreat like? What was it all about?
It was fantastic.
Share your experiences, please, because there will be another one soon.
Go
Help
ahead,
the girls.
Carrie.
Gina, do you want to share?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, it was a magical weekend of discovery. There was so much opportunity to sit down with your own thoughts and write, but then there was also a lot of opportunity to collaborate with everybody else that was there, bounce ideas off of each other. And it was truly a safe place to be vulnerable. Great food too.
Oh yeah, great food too. Yeah.
And others might complain about the noise the horses were making at night, but I sleep very soundly and they didn't bother me.
Yeah, it was cool. We were sleeping above some stables,
Yes.
so it was really nice. Yeah, I agree. I love that blocking time, and it's something I need to practice more of. I actually was moving in the middle of that, and I stayed committed to going, and I'm so happy I did. And I think that the sisterhoods that we built there was amazing. We shared some deep personal parts of our journey, and that was part of our writing. So I think that was really good. Cool. Anybody else want to share anything? Ask any questions, any thoughts that came up today?
I just wanted to say how much I appreciated the going inward and the reflection. I've spent a lot of time so far, the last day and a bit, thinking outside of myself and my business and tactics and to-dos and whatever. So it was refreshing to go inside and be a little reflective. So thank you, Deena. I really enjoyed your session. It was wonderful.
Thank you, Noreen. I really appreciate that. I hadn't thought of that perspective, but it's true. We need to, I shouldn't should all over us, but we should make a conscious effort to do this once in a while and just practice that. Because we're servers. We serve everyone else. Okay, Lindsay, you got your bucket ready? Or did you end up using the app? No? She's not quite ready. That's okay. So in my guidebook, and I hope you all grab a copy, there are more journal prompts, more questions, more information. I've fleshed that out more of what we did today, but there's more there. And I'm really looking forward to hearing what you all think about it and what you've discovered. And it's a little scary to consider doing that inner child reconciliation, just because there's some scary stuff there to face sometimes, or to consider that little inner child has been neglected. And I was kind of shocked. A lot of mine had to do with what I described earlier, that, trying to be invisible. And I felt like by the time I found her, she was so thrilled to see me and so happy that I didn't let her just completely fade into oblivion. So it's a really interesting exercise. Carrie?
Yeah, I have a question. I'm generally like, I pride myself on being a pretty positive person. Like even my kids will say, wow, mom, like, so I feel like I'm pretty good at this. However, I don't know if it's just my age or other people can relate to this. Sometimes that little voice says Murphy's Law. Don't be too positive, or don't expect all the great things, because Murphy's Law, right? If you put too much energy into all the positivity, Murphy's Law is going to get you. How do you change that around? Because it's funny when things manifest and they do a lot, then it's like, woo, this works. And when they don't, then the first thing they go to is, Murphy's Law.
I think we all struggle with that because we're afraid to keep our hopes too high because we're going to get our feet knocked under us. The rug's going to be pulled out. That's, that nasty Murphy's going to show up with the yin and the yang, that we need to keep that balance. But recognizing it, I think, is the biggest first step. Just go, whoa, wait a minute, that was negative. Or that's a doubt. That's a fear. That's just fear. So everything that you can manifest is on the other side of fear. So we know it exists. We can't ignore it. And I think it's dangerous to ignore it. I think if we acknowledge it, we recognize, acknowledge it, say, yeah, I see you're there, but you know what? Screw you. A big F you to you. I am going to go through you, past you. I know you're there, but my dream is bigger. And thanks for showing up just to remind me that I need to go through it and recognize it. That's just how I do it. And yeah, I can get mired in it sometimes, but I think just walk through it and say, I'm a little scared. And that applies. You're going to try something new. It's scary. We all had to jump on Patreon last week and went, oh, shite. How do I do this now? Right. But we did it.